One of the great applications for business analysts is the ability to take data that you have within an Excel spreadsheet and be able to look at it spatially within Esri Business Analyst. I'm going to spend just a moment talking a little bit about the type of spreadsheet that you could bring into Business Analyst to get a spatial representation of what's going on in your given market. Here you'll see a simple Excel file that has name. In this case, we have property portfolio numbers, we have address, city, state, and zip code, and then we also have sales volume as well as property type. So these are two different attributes that we also have. Keep in mind that you could have lots of different options here, but in this case, we're just going to use sales volume and property type to take that information and map it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here into Business Analyst. I'm going to select Maps. And I'm going to define areas for reports, and you'll notice the fourth option is the ability to import a file. So I'm going to go and browse for my file, which in this case is that Excel file called Sample Portfolio. Scroll down, choose the sample portfolio and import it. And notice that it's going to ask me if I have the address, city, state, and zip code. I do, and so I could just click next here, but I could also do the exact same thing if I had the latitude and longitude. But in this case, I have the address for these locations in my property portfolio. I'm going to click next. If for whatever reason the addresses didn't match appropriately, you would see that they would show up in here in the invalid addresses, and I can make any changes that I would need to get them to be able to map at this point. But in this case, I simply want to add matches to the map. Now you'll notice initially that it's just going to drop blue pins all over the map. And I also have the ability to go down here and choose a label. So if I wanted to have all of the different names displayed, I could say open names, or I could say I want the original address to show, or I wanted the property type to show. So all the different options as far as how I can actually label these points. But what most people are probably going to find more interesting is the ability to change the drawing styles. So you'll notice here that we have the location or the single symbol chosen initially. But if I click here, you'll see that I have a number of different options. The single symbol, which is just going to drop the single symbols of all of the different locations on the map. We also have type or unique symbols. So here I'm going to select type or unique symbols, and you'll see that I have lots of different mapping. Well, they're mapping by the actual address, but that's probably not the best way to have those mapped. What I'm going to actually do is map them by property type. So directly from that Excel spreadsheet, you'll remember that I had a lot of different options for property type. I go in here into type, and my attribute is actually going to be property type. So you see here that I have a retail, office, industrial, multifamily, hospitality, self-storage, and medical office. Well, you'll notice they will also show up on a legend here in the bottom right-hand corner and give me those individual points all over the map. I can also go in here and change the icon if I'd like, the size of the icon, to however I want to do so. In fact, I would even have the ability to change the different color palettes if I was so inclined to do so. So that gives you an idea of how you might do this if you were wanting to map by property type. Well, one of the other options here is the ability to look at counts and amounts. And so right now we have the sales volume, and it's showing me the different sales volumes by all the different colors. I also have the ability to look at this instead of by color, by size. So if I was wanting to map the different sales volumes by size of the icon, you would see here that we have sales volumes ranging from under 120,000 all the way up to 1.9 million, and all of the different sizes of circles indicating all of the different options that we have. So obviously the largest circle is going to denote my highest sales volume. So if I was to click on that, you'd see that that's a retail location. That's at 5405 West Lovers Lane. And I could even go in and show attributes, and sure enough, I would find the sales volume here is going to be the largest one. I'd also have the ability to go over to the right side and create a PDF of this image where it's going to give me a nice custom map. I can title my map however I'd like to. I could give it a subtitle. I could change the orientation from landscape to portrait. And then I also have the option to turn on or turn off the legend however I see fit. Now the final option here under the styling of the data is going to be the heat map. And see, with the heat map, what we have is we have the concentration of these dots. And so you can see, depending on where they are, if there's overlap or not. You'll also notice once you go into the heat map, you have the ability to change the area of influence. So if we decided that the area of influence of these locations was larger or smaller, you could change them to reflect exactly what it is that you're trying to show. So if I said, well, these all have pretty large areas of influence, you can see where my highest concentration of businesses is. And so again, just a number of different ways to go in and style the data so that you can display exactly what it is that you're looking to do so directly from that Excel file.